Hi there, everybody, and thanks for joining me for the Introduction to Oceanography course for the summer 2015 third summer session. And I like to record these introductory tutorials just to basically introduce myself and introduce the course site to you and the format that the class will take on, and then show you a little bit about the structure of the site and how it runs and how you'll be progressing through it, um, so that you can be successful throughout the course. All right, so first off, I'm Steve Tordo. That's me. Hello. I did my PhD basically in microbial ecology of the oceans at Rutgers, at Marine and Coastal Sciences at Rutgers. And I worked there and studied in this field for about 15 years. Recently, I left and changed fields, and now I work for TerraCycle Inc. out of Trenton, New Jersey, which is a company that's concerned with finding recycling solutions for all the products that humans produce and consume, and is committed to the idea of eliminating waste. So I feel like I'm working for a very cool cause. I'm in their research and development team now. So the downside of that means that I cannot be found at Rutgers anymore, and that I offer the class entirely online. But I try to make myself very available to you through my email. You can reach out to me at my email at any time. There's no real phone number for you to reach out to me at any time, but if we do have some real concerns, then we can set up a time to either meet or talk over the phone if we ever do run into any real problems. Beyond that, yeah, you can email me whenever. I will post forums and maybe even possibly discussions basically for the week so that you can post questions, and then maybe answer each other's questions. You guys can all chime in. Maybe you can get to and help out one of your fellow classmates before I get a chance to check in and chime in on that. And then beyond that, every Thursday night from between 7 to 10 p.m., I will log in down here to the chat room, and it'll show me as logged in between 7 and 10, and that will basically be my office hours. All right, so anybody can log in and get basically quick responses, or hopefully solve any problems you're having with a little bit more relatively quickly. All right. The first thing you're going to do once you get the invite and the site becomes available to you, is read this first homepage, the whole thing. Okay, it's going to have a little bit more detail on what I'm going over now, which is the class format. And essentially, the format is structured into, the class is broken down into 4 weeks. Originally, this class was slated to be a hybrid class, but because of my career change, I'm not going to be able to attend the in-class sessions. And the class was structured so that you learn the course content in the first 4 weeks, and then was geared so that we could meet for a couple of weeks after that and apply our knowledge and do some activities and exercises. But unfortunately, we won't be able to hold those weeks. And so now we have just the 4 weeks of online, and your grades will be broken down by assignments and assessments during those 4 weeks, including 1 midterm exam and then 1 final exam. All right, so a week, each of these 4 weeks is defined as 7 consecutive days. So it's not Monday through Friday, but each week will begin at 12 a.m. on Monday. And then you'll have until 11:59 p.m. on Sunday evenings to complete everything for each week. And what do you need to complete? So each week is made up of a bunch of units, a handful of units, that are to be completed all online. Each unit has 1 to several lessons within them. And each unit and lesson, sorry about that, each unit and lesson is made up, has a certain set of learning objectives, which are the goals that you'll have for each of those lessons and units, and it kind of gives you the take home of what you should have been learning during that lesson, right? So you can find out the schedule, how things are run. So here, this is all explained in much more detail on this page. It's also explained here on the syllabus, and we'll go there in a minute. And so the scheduling and what you should be doing can be found either on the syllabus or on this schedule right here is where everything's linked also. You see if we click on Monday the 6th, we see that on the 6th, week 1 begins. Okay. If we click on Sunday the 12th, which is 7 days from then, you see week 1 ends, and then everything that's due for that week is listed there, and it has to be handed in by 11:59 p.m. Now you have the whole week to do your work, which means you have a lot of freedom in how you go about completing that work in terms of your schedule. But I really do suggest that you manage your time wisely. Especially starting off, you'll see the first week's a little bit easier going, but the weeks get a little bit more intense as they go on, especially with the exams coming up, once the exams come up. And also, inevitably there will be some problems. You'll struggle with a quiz or some content or something on the site. And if you wait until Saturday or worse Sunday and you're emailing me late on a Sunday because you're having some trouble, you know, I can't guarantee that I'm going to be able to help you in time or see your messages. And once the due date is passed, you know, once 11:59 p.m. on a Sunday goes past, then I can no longer help you, and your assignments will not have been handed in for that week. All right, so keep close eye on the schedule, and manage your time wisely. I really suggest that you start early in the week and maybe do a unit per day, or at least get a feel for the schedule and how things are going to go. So other things on the schedule here, Thursdays. Every Thursday I have listed in online office chat hours. Things that show up in orange means there's things due that day, and things that show up in red are a bigger thing that's due. Like, so the 17th exam 1 will become available. All right, so let's go and take a quick look at the syllabus. The syllabus on Sakai is now broken down into these interactive tabs, which is kind of neat. You can click one and expand it, or you can expand all of them at once. Here's the information I gave you already. The online coursework is going to go from the 6th of July to the 2nd of August, and it'll run again as seven-day weeks, with everything starting on a Monday morning and being due by a Sunday night. And remember, there's no face-to-face classes, no in-person meetings, so all online. And the office online chat hours are 7 to 10. Just went over that format, the four 7-day weeks. Class description you can read for yourself, pretty much. Here's the required reading, How the Ocean Works, An Introduction to Oceanography by Mark Denny. This is a great book. It puts things certainly on a level that almost everyone can understand, and gives great explanations, examples, and then even has some more in-depth stuff if you choose to. Most people ask, you know, do I have to buy the book? And the answer is that, you know, I'm not going to check to make sure anybody buys the book. There's a history of oceanography unit that's helpful for that, you know, that the book is helpful for that unit. And the answer is that, you know, some people, there will not be anything on the exams or in the quizzes that are not on my website. But at the same time, people have reported, you know, for the most part, report that they do better when they have the book and use it to reinforce their work. So really it is up to you. Here's how the class grading is broken down. So you'll go through the weeks and units, the units and lessons of each week. And by completing each one of those things, you will get a point, basically, or a check mark for each thing that's due for a week. So if you complete them all your requirements for the week, for each week, then basically you will get class participation credit full for that week. And so by completing everything, you get an easy 10% of your grade. The quizzes are another 10% of your grade. You'll see down here I have it all explained out in a lot more detail, each thing that's due for goes towards your grades. At the end of almost all lessons, there's a lesson quiz, and these are pretty simple, quick answer quizzes. And essentially, these are designed for you to assess whether or not you're getting what you need to from the lessons, my lesson captures in the web page, and also from the book. And so the catch with the quizzes is you need to pass them. You must pass the quizzes with 100%. Okay, so it's just a few quick questions, but you need to get them right, because if you get them wrong, I want you going back and looking what you did wrong and knowing what the take-home message was for that lesson. And so it's a good way for me to make sure that you do that. But since you have to pass them with 100%, then that's another easy 10% of your grade. Unit summary assignments. So at the end of all the lessons within a unit and after taking all the quizzes, you'll have a unit summary assignment. And this is where you're going to basically summarize what you learned, and you're going to refer to, you're going to summarize each lesson from the units, and you're going to refer to the unit and lesson objectives that are listed on each page. And I'll show you what I mean by that in a minute. And then also on the about this class page, there's a tutorial, and you need to go and watch that. And I give you a very good idea of how you should be completing those unit summary assignments in order to get full credit. So you definitely need to watch that. So essentially, if you take the lesson objectives I list on each page, and you give me a summary, or treat those as if they were questions, and you answer those questions in a summary format in your own words, then you'll get 100% on this assignment. But you will also be creating what I like to think of as a study guide for your exams. So if you do these assignments and these quizzes and you pay attention to them and do well on them, then all you need to do is refer to them for the exams, and you'll be able to pass the exams no problem. Unit summary assignments, little effort will get no grade. And then I'm also pretty hard about plagiarizing. I've had students basically waste my time, an awful lot of time, trying to figure out which things they're plagiarizing and which not, and trying to be lenient about certain things. And basically it degrades my effort, and degrades also the effort of your fellow classmates that are actually working hard. So if there's any plagiarizing, your assignments will go through Turnitin, so it's going to be difficult to plagiarize anyway. But if there's plagiarizing, I've basically made it very black and white that I will fail you for the course and turn you into the college. And unfortunately, I had to learn to do that the hard way. All right, exams. There'll be an exam halfway through, which you remember, this is a fast-paced course, so halfway through is by the second week. That'll be worth 20% of your grade and cover all the content up to that time. And then your final exam will be cumulative and worth a bit more, which will be the last weekend of the course. All right, so if you look at the weeks on the syllabus, the rest of the syllabus is scheduling, and it's laid out in chronological order of what you're supposed to do and what you're responsible for. So by following this, between this and the calendar on the home page, you really don't have an excuse to not be knowing what you should be doing, right? So week 1, all online. You have some intro activities. Your first have a little bit of an introduction, and then your first real unit, which is history of oceanography, what you should do for that. Unit 2 is putting the ocean into perspective, what you should do for that, and so on and so forth, down to Unit 4, which is teaching us about seawater. And you see that starting basically with Unit 2, you start having lesson quizzes, and then starting with Unit 3, you'll have from then on the unit writing summary assignments to be completed. And then after the first week, a similar lineup for week 2, but at the end of week 2, an exam. All right, so if we really quickly just look at what one of those weeks looks like. Oops, let's go back to the beginning. Oh, shoot. Sorry, I had to make that page available to us because I was in the student view. If we go and look at what a week looks like, week 1 is a little different because there's some introductory stuff, but there's usually it tells you what the dates are for the week. Tells you usually a little bit about what the week's going to be about. And then week 1 actually has a little introductory posting so that we can get to know faces and names and a little bit about each other. You see, I did my post. So each one of you will have to do that. And then you'll start your units in earnest. And then, and you'll have to do them in order. Go through, you read, you complete videos, complete lesson captures, complete any quizzes or assignments that are necessary by the end. All right, so that's basically it. And if you have any trouble with the structure or the outline of the class, you can always reach out to me. All right, thanks for joining.